Audio Jungle.
Hi, I'm Hannah, and creativity is what gets me out of bed in the morning. I am a creative director and photographer that focuses on the creativity and the process over the technology. What makes me different is that I am able to produce high-end looking results while being on a shoestring budget. I do this by innovating and being super resourceful to create outcomes that are out of this world. I love the process, the headspace, and the journey that I go on when I take my ideas and turn them into outcomes that deliver on the original concept I had in mind. My work stems from childhood nostalgia and a wonder for the world, and I like to portray that in magical narratives. Due to COVID-19, I found that I had a lot of time on my hands, and in order to feel productive, I built a boat and took these photos. And here is why and how I did that. One of the things that I did in lockdown was watch Peter Pan, the Disney original. I saw the shot of the boat on the water next to the island. I want to create a shot like that. I did some Googling, decided to make my own boat. If you Google Instructables DIY pirate ship, all the instructions you need for that will turn up. All you'll need is cardboard, a printer, glue gun, craft knife, scissors, and paint. Building it took about 3 days, but it was definitely worth it. So I've got a paddling pool for photo shoot purposes, just an ordinary kid's paddling pool. I then filled that up with water, put some black ink in it, washing up liquid
To create white foam like you would see on the top of waves.
I then put a light at the back, like moonlight. I then got my dad and my mum to help me.
And this is how them photos turned out. In Photoshop, I simply removed my dad's arm and removed the paddling pool by covering it with water and smoke from the other areas of the photo.
You know, I spent 3 days making a boat and used it once. I like to use everything more than once. I was looking at it and wondering how else I could use it, and remembered the last shot, Peter Pan, and where the pirate ship is going across the moon with clouds. What isn't magical about that? A lot of what I do is reverse engineering, so I will look at the final outcome I want to achieve, or I will visualize the final outcome I want to achieve and work backwards. In this example, the biggest challenge was what was I going to use for clouds. As you can see, I may have dissected my big polar bear for the sake of creativity. And the biggest struggle I had here was actually figuring out how to prop things up. So I used very simple ways of like putting wooden skewers in a cup on a box and then putting stuffing on top of that, because they're clouds and you want them to look like they float. After I've made the composition, I then think about light, and in this case I use torches to mimic the light from the city below.
So we have the camera, which is set to shutter speed is 10, f2.8, ISO 320, and then we've got a boat with a torch underneath it to give some depth to the clouds and on the sails. I made the lights at the bottom warm to mimic kind of like street lights that, or house lights that like light pollution is. And then we've got a cup with some skewers in, with stuff in. We've got just a torch with a gel on top, And then we've got stuffing that is on a skewer in a teapot on a box. And then out of the drawers we've got a stick that is actually a microfiber duster, but I took that off, with clouds on top, with a stick stuck to it and a stuffing put on top. And then we've got my moon lamp, which is super fun. I just own this because I like it in my office, but I also use it for a prop. And then in the foreground we've got this net, which is also partly covering the lens to give kind of like a more hazy feel, kind of like the clouds are coming in front of the lens. And then this is reflecting light back onto the boat. So when it's in this stage and there's like smoke in it and the light is really like catching all the elements, it's like my job's complete. The taking photos is to make it, the photography part is to make it last. Like I'm already in my little world here. The photography then just amplifies the fantasy. You're able to really get rid of all the things that's grounding it in reality through Photoshop, and then also be able to keep it forever and for others to see it. So that's how I made this photo, and I hope that you can take some ideas and some inspiration from this video in order to make your own outcomes possible and get creative at home. Thanks, Hannah.
Audio Jungle.